Sri Lanka, Crisis and Recovery. Politicization of the central bank and bond scams. I am Shanti Mendis. This video series is to provide insight to the general public about the national crisis in Sri Lanka. This sixth video is on politicization of the central bank and bond scams. The information for these videos has been taken from Sri Lanka, Tears and Dreams of a Fragile Democracy, a book that I published in 2022. This video will help you to learn about the role of the central bank, its politicization, treasury bonds, and the bond scam. What is the role of the central bank? The central bank manages the financial resources of the country. It fixes interest rates, controls inflation, and raises money for the government to govern and develop the country. How was the central bank politicized? In February 2015, the then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe appointed Arjun Mahindran as the governor of the central bank. Questions were raised in Parliament as to whether it was legal for him to act as governor of the central bank as he was a citizen of Singapore. In September 2021, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa appointed politician Ajit Niwad Cabral as governor of the central bank. This appointment also came amid opposition. There were several allegations against Cabral at that time related to misappropriation of public funds during his tenure as central bank governor in 2006. Did the central bank's politicization lead to the economic crisis? Misgovernance of the central bank by political appointees who have served partisan interests and abuse of the power of the central bank by political appointees played a major role in the economic crisis. What are treasury bonds? Treasury bonds were introduced to the Sri Lankan market in 1997. The central bank, on behalf of the government, issues treasury bonds to meet the financial needs of the country. Treasury bonds are of two types: those that mature in less than 1 year and those that mature after 1 year. The face value of a bond is 100 rupees. The minimum investment amount in treasury bonds is 10,000 rupees. How does one invest in treasury bonds? Investors are paid interest twice a year at a fixed rate of interest. At maturity, the initial purchase price is refunded to the investor. Once the bonds are issued to the primary dealers can then trade them among investors. The central bank uses two methods to issue treasury bonds: the auction method of inviting quotes from primary dealers and direct method of issuing bonds to primary dealers. From January 2014 to February 2015, more than 80% of the total bond volume issued was issued using the direct placement method. After February 2015, the main mode of bond issue was auction. What is the 2015 bond scam? In 2015, when Arjun Mahendran was appointed as the governor of the central bank, among the 16 primary dealers, 9 were associated with banks and 7 were non-private banks. Perpetual Treasuries was one of the primary dealers. It is a company owned by Mahendran's son-in-law, Arjun Aloysius. Perpetual Treasuries bought a large stock of treasury bonds at a much lower price than stated in a controversial auction. Later, these bonds were sold to government funds like the Provident Fund, which gave perpetual treasuries huge profits. The conduct of perpetual treasuries in relation to the treasury bond auction raised suspicions that the company had obtained privileged information. Who is responsible for the bond scam? The Parliamentary Committee on Public Enterprises report concluded that Arjun Mahendran was directly responsible for the 2015-2016 bond scam. Accordingly, it was recommended by the COPE committee to take legal action against him and also against other relevant officials and to recover the loss from them. Arjun Mahendran is currently residing in Singapore, and the Singapore government has refused to extradite him on a request made by Sri Lanka through Interpol. How much did the country lose due to the bond scam? According to a special audit report, the estimated total loss is around 1.67 billion rupees. The bond scam cost the Sri Lankan government a large amount of money. Millions have been spent on committees, commissions, and audits. However, the government has failed to trace those responsible and recover these losses. Thank you.